This will be the fourth papal journey to Canada since the last one of John Paul II in 2002. So we are very happy, we're delighted to welcome Pope Francis here among us. And we're very grateful to him for having accepted the invitation from the Indigenous peoples, from the Canadian bishops, and from the federal government to visit us here on our common homeland. Now, the Pope will arrive in Canada July 24th, and he will depart from our country on July 29th of this year. And you'll recall that just over a month ago, the Pope met in Rome with First Nations, Métis, and Inuit delegates that comprised elders, knowledge keepers, survivors of residential schools, and youth. And they met in Rome so that he could listen to them, listen to their stories, and encounter them, hear their hearts, and express his own. And it gave him an opportunity to learn about the historical realities and the historical and ongoing intergenerational trauma that does continue to impact Indigenous peoples. At the time, he reiterated his intention to come to Canada. He had already said that in last fall, October, I believe it was, that he wanted to come. He reiterated that in Rome, and now he's going to be fulfilling that desire. Now, the Vatican has made clear that the Pope's itinerary for this particular trip has to unfold within very narrow limits. This arises from the Holy Father's advanced age. He's now over 85. And the unfortunate fact that he's severely limited in his mobility. In fact, we've seen recently that he is now confined to a wheelchair. So because of all of this, the Vatican has selected just 3 communities as the base for his visit: Edmonton, Quebec City, and Iqaluit. Although travel for the Holy Father for this visit is understandably very restricted, nevertheless, we shall work with our Indigenous partners to ensure that these encounters with the Holy Father, where they occur, will have a meaningful impact for everybody across this vast expanse of our land. The formal program will be announced once it's confirmed, and I would expect that would be sometime mid-June. The program will take shape as we continue our dialogue with Indigenous partners. And certainly, we will have the Pope visit a former residential school site and other locations of significance. The Pope's visit will provide an opportunity for him to listen and to dialogue with Indigenous peoples on this land, to express to them his heartfelt closeness, and to address the impact of residential schools here in Canada. The papal visit obviously will also provide an opportunity for the shepherd of the world's 1.2 billion Catholics to connect with the Catholic community here in Canada. For this visit, we're carrying forward the theme that we used in the Roman delegation, the theme of walking together, which is a reminder to us all of the ongoing journey towards healing and reconciliation. It's a pathway into the future along which all Canadians have a shared responsibility to walk. Now, this visit of the Pope is an important step along that journey. It's a big one, we know, obviously. But at the same time, we're aware that no single step can eliminate the pain felt by residential school survivors or the victims of intergenerational trauma stemming from residential schools. But we do pray that this papal visit will help to bring about greater healing for the victims and their families. And certainly the bishops of Canada are committed to that journey. Finally, I invite prayers for the health of Pope Francis. Let's pray that as he prepares to visit Canada in July, God will bless him with strength and with stamina to travel to our country for this visit of healing, hope, and reconciliation. Thanks, and I'm happy now to take your questions.
Thank you, Your Grace. You'll take the first question.
So,
just if you could identify yourself.
Christian Khan, Global News Edmonton. So just want to ask, he's coming during the same time there's the Lac St. Anne pilgrimage. Do you know, we've heard people saying that they wish he would attend to that. Has there been an invite to that, or even to visit communities, other Indigenous communities here? Any of those, information that you can confirm or say?
In terms of confirming what's going to happen, that has to wait for the Vatican to do it. But the Pope himself, if you recall, from the Roman experience, he himself expressed his wish to be with the Indigenous peoples as they honor St. Anne. He understands that that's very important to them. The role of the kokum within the Indigenous communities is very important, the grandmother. And St. Anne being the grandmother of Jesus, that they have developed in many, many cases a strong, strong devotion to her. So I would say that Lac St. Anne, a visit to Lac St. Anne is probably a strong possibility.
Just to follow up with that as well, do you know if it's in the plans for him to make some sort of another formal apology while here among Indigenous groups?
We would expect a reiteration of his apology. He understands, as we all do, the strong connection of the Indigenous peoples to their land. Their land for them culturally, spiritually, historically, in terms of their customs, they're deeply, deeply connected to it. And that's why we've heard the invitations, the constant invitations for the Pope to come and to deliver those words of apology here on their land. So we fully expect that the Pope will reiterate the apology that he did give in Rome.
Over here.
So is the Vatican or the Canadian Council of Bishops reimbursing or offering any funding so residential school survivors can meet the Pope in person?
That would be something to be determined. One of the things that we realize is going to be important is that if we do have a very limited geographical scope for the visit, there will be a number of survivors that will want to be present with the Pope wherever he is. I would say that these are details that still have to get worked out, but we certainly do want to do what we can to support them being present with the Holy Father.
And do you know why, excuse me, Winnipeg, with the largest Indigenous population, or Kamloops, that sparked the international attention for unmarked graves, why the Pope isn't visiting either of those locations while he's on?
The Pope had a number of invitations, I guess, as we all know. So when the Pope met with the Indigenous delegates in Rome, and I was privileged to be in the room with them, he heard from them directly the hopes and the invitations to go to a number of different places across the country. So that was not unknown to the Pope or to the Vatican. But what's really directing this is the Pope's limited ability to get around. So the Vatican is very, very clear. When he comes to a country, he can't get around by helicopter. He can't be in a car any more than an hour. He cannot be in a different place every night. So what they've said is we're going to have to choose places as hubs that will allow him to access sites that will be meaningful but easily accessible within a short space of time. So what that has meant is that the Pope would not simply be able to get to every place. The Vatican chose these 3 sites for those various reasons, seeing how we could have a meaningful impact within a very, very limited scope. But that places upon all of us a responsibility to make sure that those venues, once chosen, still are going to have a national impact. And this is the kind of thing that we want to be working on in significant detail with our Indigenous partners as this all unfolds.
Are there any plans for him to visit any sites of unmarked graves while he's here?
We will certainly want to have the Pope visit a former residential school site. And at that site, he will be able to address any one of a number of issues associated with the residential school legacy. Because the Pope can't get to every site doesn't mean that he still can't address every issue.